What's up, you guys? Thank you guys for waiting. We were scheduled to go on at 6:15, and I'm trying to figure out, I haven't been live in so long, and I'm trying to figure out how to have my guest name appear like under their beautiful face. But let me introduce you guys to my guests, and I really appreciate each of them for joining. We'll start with Stephanie Wine and Chill. How are
Hi,
you doing,
everyone.
Stephanie?
Good.
Can you
Thank you for
introduce
having
yourself to the thank you for
me.
coming. Can you introduce yourself to the Layla Lynn audience?
Yes. What? One more time. It's the Layla. What's the second part?
Lynn. Layla
Oh,
Lynn.
the Lynn. Oh, I thought you had like a name for the group, so I wanted to make sure I had it.
Oh,
Is
you know what? I don't. I don't. In my mind, I call them like my loves, but no, I don't have an official name.
I love that. Well, it's nice to meet everyone. I'm Stephanie from Wine and Chill. On my channels, usually I'm a recovering lawyer. So it's usually like pop culture commentary with a legal aspect. So we cover a lot of lawsuits and things of that nature. And I would say like overall legal shenanigans. So similarly to what we're going to talk about today, we recently covered on my channel the Bishop Lamar Whitehead situation. So as somebody who also lives in Brooklyn, I found it very interesting, his claims.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good word. And then we have Ty Set with Ty Set from Hot Mess History with Ty. Am I saying it right?
Hot Mess History with Ty said what Ty said, soon to become Ty's Hot Mess History, per one of my mentors' suggestions. So
Can you tell
thank
us a
you.
little bit about your channel?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me on. I am just a young lady who is saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, and I talk about all things our Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. And so if you want to have a good Bible study, please come on to my channel.
See, look at the Lord. Look.
Oh, this is going to be great. I'm so excited.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes. Uh-oh, the sound just went out.
Yeah, I can't hear you there.
All right, what about now?
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The devil is
Ty.
busy.
Yes, yes. Ooh, okay, so Sheridan, can you introduce yourself to the Layla Lynn audience?
Hey, you guys. My name is Sheridan S. Davis. I am the newer to YouTube of the crew, and I'm excited to have my YouTube channel. I am your favorite church girl influencer. You don't know that yet, but I am. And I am basically throwing balls at the wall to see which one sticks right now. I do like to talk pop culture and things like that. And I also infuse some Jesus juice in there. So that's me in a nutshell. Jesus and the secular blended together.
Mm-hmm. And you have your brand, like you have a church girl brand.
Yes, I do. Thank you for saying that. So I literally started out, I'm an author as well. So I've written 16 books. I'm working on number 17. So I write fiction. And the series that I'm known for the most is the Church Girl series. So with that came the t-shirts and the books and the hats and all the things, which are all available at thechocolatechips.com. So yeah, I'm like the quintessential church girl out here.
Yes, yes. And Sheridan, so tonight we're going to be talking about Juanita Bynum, the pastor that wanted a Movado watch, and the pastor, condemned Beyonce. And Sheridan actually used to be a personal assistant to Juanita Bynum. So she has some really personal insight that she'll be sharing with us. And Ty is back.
God told me to stop playing.
Right. That's what happens when you play the guy. That's what happens.
He put me in timeout. So honestly, on my channel, I talk about scandals from history. I started out, once that became what my channel was going to be, just doing celebrity scandals from yesteryear, a lot of R&B, 70s, 80s, 60s stars. But I've since ventured out a little bit into the more obscure things and even more historical things, from the 1700s, 1800s, just anything that's scandalous and historical. That's what I do on my channel.
Yes, yes. And the people love it.
Not
They
Bible
love
study. Sorry.
it. But you know what? Speaking of Bible study, I did want to say this. So I have shared on my channel before, like a couple times, I've shared that I am a Christian. I identify as a Christian, but I feel like I also need to share, like there are so many different theologies within Christianity, and I feel like I need to share just because I say I'm a Christian. And if you're a Christian watching, it doesn't mean I believe exactly how you believe. So if you hear me say anything tonight that doesn't match what you believe, don't worry about it because we all have different beliefs. And I just feel like a lot of times people assume that I think one way because I said I'm a Christian, but I really might think another way. And I feel like I need to put that out there first and foremost. And also, I want to thank you guys for your patience. I know some of you guys said you're blessing us with your presence. So thank you for your patience. I want to start with Juanita Bynum. And I guess we can start with you then, Sheridan. Can you give us a brief summary of your experience, like being a personal assistant for Juanita Bynum?
Sure. So our history actually goes back way farther than that, before I was born. My dad had a gospel group here in Chicago. That's where I'm from. That's where Dr. Bynum is also from. And she was a member of that group way back in the way back. So singing before she was preaching then too, but at that point singing. So I became her assistant. I was her assistant for 3 years. Now, I didn't just do assistant work. I also ended up doing some booking for her and also publishing, because I'm an author and I was self-publishing. So I was helping her in that avenue as well. So my experience is hectic, y'all. Like I give people more grace who are in the limelight because of these hectic schedules. It's very taxing on the body. Like, she was going through some health stuff while I was there, and also being publicly ridiculed while I was there. And so I was, trying to help her juggle all of the things, her schedule, booking, make sure the plane left at this time, and da-da-da. It was literally so much, and it was so stressful. But I think it was like the perfect job for me at that point, because it was preparing me for like now. So I think it was preparing me to have an audience, to have people leave rude comments in my YouTube channel and all that type of stuff. I kind of developed like a thick skin in that time because I am very sensitive naturally. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Was this around the time of her divorce?
No. It was far later. I think I stopped being her assistant maybe 3 years ago. So they were already divorced by then. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I know she's gone viral a couple times, and I was trying to think what the situation was.
Around the shofar. Remember, she was blowing the shofar and it wouldn't go. And so like people were making that. That was around the time when I was her assistant.
Okay. All right, you guys. On that note, let's go ahead and get into what Juanita Bynum was preaching. She was preaching one thing and doing another. So let's go ahead and get into her sermon, where basically she was telling people that you can't listen to secular music and still be saved. So I have a clip of her sermon. She did play music during her sermon. She played some Usher songs, so I had to replace the music. But this is what she was preaching.
I want to know what Bishop told you, that you can still be saved and listen to secular music. Who told you that? No, come on, hit it. Hit it, Unica. Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that the church is supposed Because that's what's in some of y'all cars right now. But I hear the Lord saying, clean it up. It's time to clean the church up.
All right, you guys. So, Ty, what are your thoughts on that sermon, on that train of thought that you can't listen to secular music and still be saved?
I'm going to say, I don't really agree with what she's saying, and I can understand like people having that as like a moral value. I don't know if it's something that's necessarily something that's actually Bible based. And then for me, I have to like question like, where is that line drawn? Because so much gospel music draws from secular music as it is. So how do we really know like what is, just gospel music and just, secular music? So it's not an opinion that I hold. I do hear, people talk along those lines, and I respect people if that's what they say and they also actually do, but it's just not my opinion.
Yeah. What about you, Stephanie?
I'm trying to find the comment where I'm in complete agreement with. Where was it? She just said this with Brenda King, where she said, I feel like they focus on the wrong things. Honestly, like there are so many more important things going on than what does it matter what people are listening to outside of church? What does it matter? What does it matter? At this point, like as somebody who owes so much money for student loans, let's focus on Joseph. Like, is Joseph doing his job? The answer is no. Like, let's focus on the fact that Trump decides that he wants to run and ruin all of our lives worse again. Like, focus on something sensible. And to me, I think it's such a waste of a platform to be like, okay, we're going to take the 3 hours long that church is and let's focus on this silly thing. Yeah. Or 3 hours on a good day. Church can be very long. So.
Whoa.
Yeah, it can be.
Depending on.
Can I add to her point, focusing on other things to focus on just within the church itself. If ministers would just focus on the things that are happening within the church or within even their own church, I think that would be like enough,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a little bit worried about what's going on, a little bit too worried about what's going on in the world. The church is sick enough.
Can I add that I understand what you guys are saying, but not that I'm in agreement, but this is not a new train of thought. So like, even if you watch the Clark Sisters movie, you can't go there because they wear pants. Like, I feel like the theology that was passed down was do anything you got to do to avoid sin. And so don't listen to secular music, which I think sometimes they mean vulgar music and not secular, because secular just means not gospel. Like, so I can't listen to jazz. I think you mean vulgar, like with cursing and things like that. But that's also an opinion.
Can we take people at their word? If they say secular, if they don't say vulgar, if they say secular, can we take them at their word and just go by that they said secular?
Yeah, we can go by that. Because I do think that some people actually mean that. But I think there are others who mean vulgar. My thing is this. Whatever we're gonna preach, I wish it's so many different types of churches, different types of theology. But sometimes you can feel like, am I saved? Because all of these different trains of thought, and I don't know where I'm going. So am I saved or not? So I wish we could just find a plan and stick to it so that we can all just know what's what.
Well, I think that part of that starts with language. If people are saying secular and they mean vulgar, then that's a place to start. We can't get on the same page if we don't have the same language, and if the words don't mean what they mean. I mean, we say a word for a reason. So the words mean something. Mm-hmm. So if they're saying secular, they have to mean secular. if they're saying vulgar, I mean, there are tons of people who agree that we shouldn't be listening to vulgar music, and they're not even in the church.
Right.
So, I mean, if we're going to be on the same page, we have to be using the same language, and the definitions have to match as well.
Absolutely.
I have been around people who secular and vulgar are interchangeable for them. Like if it's not gospel, then it's vulgar.
Yep.
I've been around people like that. So I understand it's not clear, but for some people it's like a clear line. Like if it's not gospel, then it's vulgar. Even if it's not, even if it's like jazz, like you said, for some people it's one and the same. But the thing about it is Juanita Bynum, like there's a video, I'm about to show the video, where she was dancing to Mary J. Blige. And, you know, we all love Mary. I can't play Mary's song, but I do have the video. I have a clip of her. It's her birthday party. And I'm guessing, you know, for your birthday, people play like your favorite songs. And so they play Mary J. Blige for her. And this is her dancing to Mary J. Blige, which is not gospel, which would make it secular. And to some people, that would make it vulgar.
If it's your birthday, make some noise. 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 If it's your
So that's one video. There's another video. She got her tongue all out. Like she is really into it. And so it's like, okay, you're saying one thing. You're saying that you can't, you know, listen to secular music and still be saved. But then you're listening and dancing to secular music. That's a problem for me.
That wasn't a Holy Ghost dance that I
She was not shouting. But even if she was shouting to Mary J. Blige, it's a problem. It's a problem.
One thing about the internet, that video was from January, her birthday. The internet don't forget nothing. Like the internet does not forget. You might forget, but the internet is not gonna forget. My God.
Right. Which is a good thing. I think that's a good thing for them to pull receipts.
Yes, I mean it holds us accountable. I love her dearly, but she had her day. She had her day. The internet's gonna call people out.
Yeah. What do you think, Stephanie?
My only opinion is I love the dub song. I would love that song.
It's
It's a great song. I was sitting here like, oh shit, I like this.
Yeah, I was trying to replace it with something that wouldn't get a copyright. But that's a Baltimore mix. But you know what? I feel like this. I feel like, you know,
Oh, there's a little echo.
I have an echo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm having some problems with my mic. Hold on.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my headphones in. That might.
Okay. You guys, leave a comment. Can you hear me okay? Oh, it's feedback. Okay. I'm going to mute y'all as we talk. But for me, I feel like, you know, Juanita Bynum, she shared her story, her history. I think she has a history of drug use and different things like that. And I feel like sometimes people who have done things that they feel are sins, even though they say no sin is supposed to be worse than the other, I feel like people who have done things that they feel are greater sins try to be really, really conservative. And I think that's what you see with Juanita Bynum. I think you see her trying to be conservative. And I think that's why she was trying to say, oh, you can't listen to secular music and still be saved. I think it's just her, you know, as she's getting older, getting more conservative, probably because she feels some guilt from her past. That's my opinion. But I'm going to unmute you guys. Is the audio better that way?
The people are in the chat are saying much better.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what you'll have to do. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, you got. I say Cynthia said we all need to show everyone grace. Yeah.
But like us too. Like, and by us, I mean I'm an assistant pastor. So we have to also show the people grace. And sometimes they don't show us grace because we haven't been graceful. And so our delivery, when we deliver messages, can make us we can be very firm. I don't necessarily think it's because of her past. Like, her upbringing is the Church of God in Christ. So the same church that the Clark sisters are from and Karen is the first lady of. I said that to say that this is a very strict church, okay? Very strict upbringing, very conservative, very strict. And it's that holiness of hell, fire and brimstone, type of mentality. She's a tough cookie. We ain't hurting her feelings. She's a tough cookie, but I definitely think that she's not the savior. And I agree with that. I feel like sometimes we put these people up here and for decent reasons, but at the same time, if I listen to a pastor and he's saying something I don't agree with, he ain't my pastor, so I'll move on. So I don't know. I think it's our delivery, and when we deliver stuff in a harsh manner, it makes other folks want to call us out.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're an ordained minister.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. I do. I definitely agree with what you're saying. That is the delivery. I also feel like that. What do you call it? Fire and brimstone. I feel like it doesn't help people. I feel like the church is supposed to be a place that helps people. Like, people come to the church because they're in need, and preaching that fire and brimstone, I don't think it's helpful at all. I think it actually hurts people. Yeah. All right, you guys. So I wanted to talk about this pastor who wanted a Movado watch, which I didn't even know Movado was hot like that. Like, is that like the brand?
He thinks so. To him,
Okay.
It is.
Okay, I'm not familiar. But
I think he read it in the Bible that it was hot. I think.
Yeah, I guess. But I want to get into this pastor, kind of like chastising his church for not buying him a Movado watch. Stephanie, what's your thoughts? Because I see you like this the whole time.
Yes, that it. One point for the rhyme of broke, busted, and disgusted. That was, if that's on the fly, that's very good rhyming skills. He could have been a broke rapper if he had chose to. Honestly, and this reminds me, I think you all covered it on your channels as well, and I covered it on my channel about Bishop Lamar Whitehead, about there are certain pastors that seemingly are only in the business of preying on people. And it would seem to me that if you're over here, chastising your church that they need to buy you a watch, he's not saying like, oh, I'm starving, like I'm here, I'm doing all this community work for you, I'm making sure your kids are fed, I'm making sure your kids have somewhere safe to go after school, all of this, and like I'm living like a pauper. Like, that's not what he said. He said he wanted a watch that he assumes that is nice. It's just very disingenuous. And I think a lot of people, myself included, that type of person, all I see is, in my opinion, a scammer.
That's a strong word, scammer. So basically, he's scamming his congregation. Yeah.
In my opinion, it would seem so. Like, you're supposed to be taking care of people. Like, it's community service, feeding people's soul, making sure people are like on a path, like being a lot of pastors, like to my understanding, are also counselors as well. Some of them are certified, doing all these things, but you're over here worried about a watch. If they wanted to buy you a watch, they'd buy you a watch. Like, maybe all they can afford is McDonald's. Like, and you're over here chastising people about, oh, give me your McDonald's money. Why? They're supposed to starve so you can have a watch?
Right.
And people don't like when you say that, but that's my personal feelings on it, to be honest. And having seen a lot of that in like certain places, I'm just like, oh, that's interesting.
When you say certain places, what do you mean? Because I think you got into that before in your video about Lamar Whitehead and where he chose to position his church and why he chose to, I almost want to say, prey on certain people.
So I'm from Miami. I grew up in Miami. And speaking for Miami, I think it's very apparent in certain neighborhoods where you'll see the neighborhood is not doing well. Black people in this country are specifically disenfranchised. A lot of Black people are in forced poverty. But then you have these churches and you have this pastor living well, just preying off of everybody's auntie and mom. And you're like, what is going on? Like, you're not giving out any food, you're not helping anybody, but like you're living high on the hog. And it's always very apparent when you drive by And it's like, oh, your car doesn't match the rest of the congregation. What's interesting? Oh, what you're eating is not the rest of what everybody's eating. Everybody else is on food stamps, but you over here eating Red Lobster. And I think that's something like people don't like to address, but anybody with eyes can see it. And it's not everyone, but depending on where you grow up, it's a very rampant thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Ty?
I think if you kept rolling that clip, you would have seen Kim Burrell come out and sing for him along the same line. But no, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement. I think that, I guess I'll scoot over this way. Hey, y'all. No, I think that, gosh, I don't know where to start. I wouldn't have sat through that sermon. Listening to some pastor, call me broke, busted, and disgusted. And if he's wanting a $600 watch for over a year, is he himself not broke, busted, and disgusted? Can't he go buy his own Movado watch if he's saying that their inability to purchase one for him speaks to their condition of being poor, broke, busted, and disgusted? Does that not speak to his own condition then? Do we need to get some prosperity preachers to come in there and preach to them? Do we need to call Creflo Dollar to come and be a guest pastor or something in his church for the entire body, himself included? It's just disgusting. I'm really tired of hearing church people address their congregations as poor. It's in such bad taste to down the people who literally do pay for your existence. And I just don't like it. I'm over that whole thing. It's sickening to me.
What do you think, Sheridan? I feel like you have something positive to say about the pastors. Because I tend to invite people with different, opinions. And I figured you might have a different opinion, different point of view. So what do you think?
I hate his delivery. It's trash. It's terrible. I'm embarrassed. Every time these stories go viral, I'll be like, oh my God, y'all are so embarrassing. However, he doesn't seem flashy to me. That to me is the difference between him and Bishop Whitehead. He doesn't give me flashy vibes. Oh, can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just listening really close. Yeah.
Okay. He doesn't give me flashy vibes. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to label him a scammer. And I'm going to tell you why. In my experience as a PK, we have been in a position where everybody else was driving and we weren't. Everybody else was living well and we weren't. And we didn't have, it would be points where we didn't have heat in Chicago, Illinois in the winter time. Because, it was like we were giving, and then we were left depleted. So I wonder if that's the case, because that can happen where you're taking care of the church, and it's supposed to be, whenever you're in a relationship, a mutual thing where we pour and we receive. And there have been moments, now that's not where we are now, thank God, but there have been moments where that has happened to us. So is it a moment where you're frustrated and you're venting and it's disgusting? Again, let me be clear, disgusting and nasty what he said to those people. And my other thing is this, as a leader, pastor, even if you are feeling like the relationship is not mutual, sir, what are you preaching to help them better their lives? Because if they're poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, why aren't you bringing in people with jobs or that have hiring power and all that stuff to help your people get better? So it's twofold. I want to know what happened, but also regardless as to what happened and regardless as to the relationship he has with the people or what they're supposed to do, what they aren't able to do, you should never address people like that, period, point blank. So that is my little 2 cents.
Yeah.
May I ask a question about? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
Oh,
girl. Go
I wanted
ahead.
to ask Sheridan a question. So like, I understand the position you're saying that your family may have been in, was in when you were younger, like where you all were struggling, but the congregation wasn't. I get that. I don't look at, I'm not able to see this pastor's situation as that, because he's asking for a watch. Like I could see if like he's asking like, hey y'all, y'all are doing well, but I'm sitting here, I don't have, my electricity is about to get cut off, and I don't have any gas, the price of fuel is going up, and I need to be able to get to work and to do the things that I need to do, but I'm pouring into y'all, but y'all aren't pouring back into me. What about me and my family? And so that's kind of what I'm, if he were asking for necessities, I think that I could see it that way, but he's literally talking about a luxury watch. So are you able to still say, like, I wonder what the relationship is with the church, or like what happened before, when he's asking for a watch and not like for something that he would need? He's still asking for something that he wants.
Yeah. So what I just brought that to put in perspective why I have my POV. So I think he's wrong for addressing these people in this manner, period. But
yeah, you make that clear.
Yeah, if you say, okay, every church or most churches have anniversary season, right? If I say for my anniversary, okay, I want this watch. Now that watch is like $300 at Sam's. Because I did look it up, because I was like, what is he talking about to these people? But anyway, it's $300 at Sam's, right? And if you say, okay, I haven't gotten a salary all year, but I want this watch for my anniversary, and you don't get it, is that the type of situation we're in, or are you just greedy? So that's why I'm saying I want to know more about what he's doing with their congregation. But I understand what you're saying, that it's not a necessity.
Yeah, like when you were explaining your, the utility situation with your family, that was definitely a necessity. But the Movado watch, it just sounds like a luxury, and so
Yeah.
it does sound like two different things. And even like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not used to a pastor saying, "This is what I want for my birthday."
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to me. And it's not that I
It's
don't
weird to me
support
too.
my pastor. It's just that I guess my pastor, he might just be a little bit different, and my church might be a little bit different. Uh, but that's just weird to me. But I do want to play his apology, because I appreciate his apology, the way he approached it. It was like no excuses given. So I do want
Yeah.
to play his apology.
Good evening. My name is Carlton Funderburg. I'm the senior pastor of Church of the Well right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I want to take this moment to address the now viral video clip of me from a sermon given August the 7th, 2022. Though there is context behind the content of the clip, no context will suffice to explain the hurt and anguish caused by my words. I've spoken to those I am accountable to and have received their correction and instruction. I have also privately apologized to our church, who has extended their love and support to me. I'm privileged to do life with them. The video clip does not reflect my heart or my sentiments toward God's people, yet that's not discernible in the clip. Therefore, I offer this sincere apology to you today. No context could erase the words I used. I apologize to all who have been hurt, angered, or in any way damaged by my words. The zeal of any presentation must be tempered with love and respect, and that was not displayed. I apologize to the church at large for any undue scrutiny I have subjected you to. I apologize to every preacher and pastor who must stand up under the controversy that I have caused. To those who know and love me, thank you for your support. To those who now know me Because of this video clip, I regret that your first impression of me is one of anger, hate, and resentment. My actions and my words are inexcusable. I offer no justification or defense. That moment was mishandled and mismanaged. I deeply regret this moment, and I solicit your prayers and your forgiveness as we grow forward. Thank you. God bless you. Go with God, and he'll go with you.
What do y'all think of that apology? Was it sufficient? Was that good enough?
Whoever wrote that apology deserves a Movado watch.
It was lit.
Very well written. Very well written.
I respected it. I liked it.
I don't think it's sincere, and I think a lot of people are saying that it's not sincere. You have someone who sat in the pulpit and was like, I'm broke, busted, and disgusted, like was on, like standing in their spirit, said all these things, and the tone of the voice is different. The body language is different. Everything is different. Like he doesn't seem like himself. And I don't think he learned his lesson, because I think what he's not realizing, and what most people are also realizing, you don't just all of a sudden come out of your face at people. Like he's probably been berating these people about the Movado watch or bell or whatever the hell else he wanted.
Yeah,
like
that was not his first rodeo.
No, it's not the first time he's bothering people for things.
Yeah, I
got that same impression. Filmed him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it went viral. Yeah. But I got that same impression that he talks to them like that all the time. And it kind of made me happy that they didn't get him the Movado watch. You know what I mean? Like you can talk all you want, but if you're not doing what you need to do as a pastor, no, I'm not giving you my McDonald's money to buy a Movado watch. But just to clarify, what I liked about the apology, even though no, I don't think it's sincere, I appreciate apologies that don't give excuses. And so that is what I liked about the apology, how he was like, there is context, almost like, I could give you an excuse, but I'm not. I'm just going to take it on the chin. I appreciated that he didn't give any excuses. But what did you think, Ty? I see you looking how you looking.
I didn't buy it. Again, kudos to the writer. It was well thought out. It said everything that needed to be said. I don't buy his delivery for one moment. He didn't have to read from his script to berate his congregation and tell them what they needed to do and what they were not, because they could not afford his Movado watch. So he reads from this script to give a sincere apology for his actions, and using this tone that's just so apologetic. And oh my gosh, I've really had time to sit down and think about this. That wasn't right. And no, it felt like he was auditioning for, the role of some apologetic pastor. I didn't buy it at all. And I would not have accepted it. And he'd never get that watch if I were a part of his congregation. I would literally have a secret committee to not buy the pastoral watch, to not raise the funds for the watch. That's the committee that I would head up.
I know that's right. What about your wife?
Every Wednesday night.
Right. What did you think, Sheridan?
I'm surprised he apologized. A lot of Christians do not, even when they go viral, they do not apologize. They just make excuses. I wasn't talking to everyone. I was just talking to my church. How many times have we heard that? So I was very shocked when this apology video came out. It's giving acting. But you had no choice. Like, you, in that moment, you were being humbled instead of just being humble, period. So, the internet broke him down, and God bless. I hope he actually becomes humble and does not address people in that manner. I think this video happened this year. We are in a recession. That's why,
even if we're not Sheridan, I'm not buying my pastoral watch.
No. I don't care if it's the greatest year the economy has ever seen.
No. Let me be clear. I'm not buying it, period. I'm saying we're in a recession. So the way that what you're saying to these people that you want and need, you're not taking that into consideration. That's all I was saying. I'm not making excuses for this man. I don't know him. Y'all can trash him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I feel like as Christians, a lot of times it's almost like we're tasked with that. Like these pastors come out doing crazy things. And then if you're a Christian, people want to ask you, well, what are your thoughts? Why did he do that? It's almost like you're supposed to defend him. And it's like you can't defend it. You know what I mean? Like it's not right. And in my opinion, it wasn't right. Like what he did. And this goes back to your video, Stephanie, about people, pastors basically preying on their audience, preying on their church. And I feel like basically he sounds like a brat, like a spoiled brat. Like he expects his church, to give him money, like to specifically donate to him, to his watch. I feel like that's too much. I feel like a pastor should be organizing the church, like whose rent are we going to pay this month? Whose mortgage are we going to pay this month? I feel like should be a communal thing to where we're helping people. Because I'm about to watch, if that's $300, like that's somebody's light bill.
Yeah.
That could be the difference. Like you were saying, Sheridan, you was cold. Back in the day, y'all was cold.
Yeah.
That could be, your heat bill, your utilities. Mm-hmm. So I don't appreciate how pastors kind of like victimize people and they almost prey on certain people. Like they choose their victims wisely. That's just something I don't appreciate about the church. But I also wanted to talk about the situation with this pastor. I believe his name is Pastor Wooden, and Beyonce. And I'll take a poll in the comments. Have you guys seen the video of the pastor berating Beyonce, basically saying she going to hell because she made this song Church Girl? She sampled Twinkie Clark, who is a real church girl, and she's going to hell for it. If y'all have seen the video, put a 1. If not, put a 2, and I'll play the video. So let me take a look at the comments. Look at Millennial MILF. She said, my youth church, my grandmother, $1,400 to get her transmission fixed. Now that's a real church. Yeah, that's what I appreciate.
And I think he made one good point where he said, I'm sorry for all of the, I don't remember the exact words he used, but like the disdain and attention other pastors are now getting because of his actions. Yeah. And there are great pastors out there that actually like do the work and like believe in community and are out there serving their community. But those are not the people that go viral. The people that go viral are people doing nonsense. And so it would behoove people to hold the people doing nonsense accountable. Like, no, you can't do this. Like you are messing up the Black community. Like stop the nonsense. So I think it's good when people like get called out. I think at least for the next 6 months, he'll have learned his lesson not to berate those people.
Yeah.
At least now he knows that someone told him.
I wonder if he gave his congregation their own apology, because it was like that apology was for the public. Yeah. And I think that it was just because we saw what happened, but I wonder if his congregation got their own separate apology because they are the ones who that message was directed towards.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
But
I see you guys. Yeah, but I wouldn't bet money on it. I wouldn't. But I'm going to play the video of the pastor talking about Beyonce because I see a lot of you guys in the comments saying that you actually haven't seen it. So this is a pastor talking about Beyonce's song, Church Girl.
I want to preach to you missionaries. I want to preach to you elders. I want to preach to you superintendents, pastors, and leaders. We're called to speak up. We're called to say something. Beyonce just released Sacrilege. The only thing I can account for some of this stuff is somebody done sold their soul to the devil. Now, all I can say to you is this. When you sell your soul to the devil, you get the short end of the stick. Because you're not going to live but so long. And when you leave here where you're going to be there forever. So it's not a good deal. I don't care what he gives you. But this piece of trash that's released.
Yes, sir.
And she named it Church Girl. Now, I had thought to try to read the lyrics to you, but I struggled to listen to them. It's too bad. It's too bad. It's not for public consumption. It would be a desecration if I read this. And I don't recommend it. You know, parents, I know all your little children they're all of them 3 months old, they got a cell phone. But I don't recommend that you let them listen to this. It's the worst. Am I right? It's the worst. You can't get and to sample the song of a real church lady.
Yes, sir.
Tweak a clock. I don't know whether she knew what she was going to do with the song or not. She knows she's not saved. I don't talk about anything that's not public.
Yes, sir.
Anything that's public is fair game.
Yes, sir.
And I pray to God that a stiff denunciation of what she did
Yes, sir.
with that song is put out. It shows that we're not speaking up. Don't nobody respect the church. The world don't respect the church. So you can't win the world enamored by them. I'm just so proud that somebody want to use my music. What do you mean? You're one of the best in the world.
You're preaching, sir. You're preaching, sir. You're preaching, sir.
We sing for Jesus. I tell you what did help me. Marshetta just released, where is she at? Released hers. And that's the one you need to buy. That's the one. Got a good beat to it, if you feel like shouting.
Yes, sir.
A sanctified, unmistakably sanctified message. Amen. And you know, can't nobody sing any better. But to show this kind of disrespect for the church, and what's sad is this, there will be church people who will defend it. But let me tell you something. I'm not bothered by those who defend that kind of garbage. I'm bothered by those who say nothing. You're the one who angers me. Am I right? The late President Richard Milhous Nixon said nothing hurt him. You know, because, you know, he was criticized for Watergate. He said nothing hurt him as bad as the indifference of his friends. See, it just bothers me when we go silent, when we go neutral. Do you not know? I'm going to preach this in a minute. Do you not know that in the Bible there are no demilitarized zones? Jesus said, "He that is not for me is against me. And he who is not gathering together is scattering abroad." Now, whose side are you on? Well, the Lord hadn't led me to say anything. God's gonna kill you for telling that lie. When the Lord calls you, when He calls you, we all call. Y'all said today, I was reading it to you for a reason. You're going to defend the doctrine of the church. You're going to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, when you see obvious wrong, how much do you have to be led to say something against obvious wrong? I'll tell you one thing about the world don't need any leading. Now I do admire that about him. I admit I admire that about the sinner. The sinner is committed.
He said the sinner is committed. So what are your thoughts about what he said about Beyonce not being saved? He basically condemned Beyonce to hell for her song Church Girls. What are y'all's thoughts? We'll go around the room. Sheridan, we'll start with you. We'll start with
God, I was hoping that.
I think we should, yes.
I think we should, because my thoughts have nothing to do with that part of what he said. So we should start with Sheridan.
Okay. It was a lot. Okay, so I don't think anybody's wrong about how they feel about this, but we have to be careful, church people, because there's a slippery slope. Church, we borrow from the world musically from the beginning of gospel music, and the world also borrows from us. So when he says it's sacrilege, it technically is, because you're taking something which was sacred and making it secular. That's literally the definition of it. So he's not wrong, but I think sometimes we miss the opportunity to a lot of people who heard that this was a Twinkie Clark sample would probably go and listen to the original song. I think we putting 20 on 10 for this one. It's not my favorite cup of tea. It's not my favorite song. Now, I was anxious to hear Church Girl because y'all know I'm the quintessential church girl. So when I saw Beyonce was putting out a song called Church Girl, people was hitting me up like, girl, Beyonce got a song called Church Girl. I was like, okay. So when it came out,
I was one of those people.
Yes. Keisha, I had a bunch of friends. Keisha is Color Me Pink. So people was like, is that Color Me Pink friend? Yes, that's me. So yeah, a lot of people were hitting me up like, it's a song called Church Girl and it's coming out. And so when I heard it, I was not expecting what it was. And I think because people heard that it was a Twinkie sample and it's called Church Girl, that they had an expectation that Beyonce doing a gospel song on this album. And when you like, Destiny Child used to do like that one gospel song on the album. So I was like, oh, Beyonce finna grace us with a good baby now. No, ma'am, she didn't. And so I was taken aback, but I mean, I'm not about to. I didn't know if he was talking about her or Twinkie when he was talking about selling their soul. Is he talking about Beyonce or Twinkie, whose song it was? Now I need him to explain that.
But either way, doesn't matter. Either way, whichever one he was talking about, that was still a lot to say. And who is he to say who's selling their soul? Like, who is he?
Yeah.
It's
a lot to say and assume. So yeah, I'm stressed.
What about you, Ty?
I just want to know, Sheridan, does the Beyonce song describe you? Yes or no?
No.
I feel like it describes me. I feel like it describes me and my friends. Like at one point in time, I don't really go out, now, but at one point in time, yes, we would go out like Saturday night and yes, go to church on Sunday. Yes, we were dedicated. Yeah.
That was me. That was me. I was like the only single woman in my church. After I left Lakewood, I found a much smaller church home. And I would say, hey, singles ministry at Sky Bar Saturday night. it was literally just me going to the club, but I was the singles ministry, but whatever. I don't. It just grinds my ears to hear anyone ever condemning someone to hell, regardless of who it is. I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. There are a few songs that I've heard of hers that I like. I did listen to the Church Girl song today so that I could, understand what was being said. But it goes back to kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of your live stream. These words need to mean something. So is he talking about, again, secular music or vulgarity? Because if it's secular music that is the problem, then he should have known from Jump Street that he wasn't going to like a Beyonce song. Why are you listening to Beyonce if you already know that this is the devil's music and it's not for you? And, anyone who listens to it is, condemned to hell or whatever. And I think that what he was saying, I think that he was condemning Beyonce because he's saying that she was taking music from a real church girl, which I believe he's saying Twinkie is a real church girl. And so, but then should he not have a problem with Twinkie allowing her to sample her song? Then isn't she just as condemned as Beyonce? Or shouldn't she be in his eyes if that's his line of reasoning? It's a bunch of confusion over petty, stupid stuff to me. Again, back to my original point with Juanita Bynum, the church has so much more going on, even within its own self. Can we just tackle the church things before we try to get Beyonce on her way to heaven if she is indeed condemned to hell? It's just a bit much for me.
Yeah,
I feel the same.
That's kind of my whole thought around all of this. And I think Natasha said it really well. Natasha Johnson, her comment was, he's so worried about a song, but church people can't pay their bills or get out of here. And so, like, I feel like, and also with the one caveat, I don't know what he's preaching the other Sundays or the other days of the week that he preaches, but it does seem like a waste of what looks to be a very large church to take up a whole Sunday to talk about this instead of talking about, like, oh yeah, like these are the systemic issues that the majority of my congregation is facing, and like we need to talk about XYZ. Also, a Black pastor quoting Richard Nixon is objectively wild to me. Like, it's objectively wild. And outside of that, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Richard Nixon.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll go first.
Can I also add how wild it is for a Kojic bishop to be talking about how sacred Twinkie's songs are when y'all was running the Clark sisters through the mud when the songs came out? Now let's talk
that
about
too.
Let's talk
that
about
too.
The church not supporting them, condemning them for performing gospel music on the Grammy Awards. Now that is crazy. That's some in-house craziness. And then
but they did sample Stevie Wonder. So
I was just about to say she sampled Stevie Wonder. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Give the people the background.
So are they real church girls? I mean, they were listening to Stevie Wonder, so are they
the church, although the bishop is dead who did it, the church banned their mother from performing with them again because of their performance, a gospel song at the Grammy Awards. That happened for real. Their sister Denise had to sit down because she was pregnant by a bishop, but that bishop kept preaching. That happened for real, and it keeps happening for real. Yes, Stevie is saved, but the song is so we have to pick a side. If you're going to say no secular stuff, all right, stand in it, or just shut up.
Here it is, Master Blaster. I'm trying to click on the comments. They sample. Yeah, the Clark sisters are known for, they kind of like made it on the map by sampling secular music. So I wasn't surprised that Twinkie would clear a sample of their music, because that's basically what they're known for, sampling secular music and making it gospel.
I don't think she
So I'm not surprised. She did. She made a video.
No, she made a thank you video, but I think it was cleared, but I don't know that she heard it and cleared it. I don't know that she.
Oh, I don't know if she heard it. I don't know if she
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that she cleared it, but she said thank you. And Dorinda said, everybody shut up and leave Beyonce alone. So be quiet, Bishop.
I heard this bishop likes to go viral. I heard he does this. Like he likes to go
Oh, is that
viral. He likes
right?
to talk about
Okay.
hot topics. Yeah, and something he said kind of caught my ear when he was like, I only talk about what's public. And that's something that Larry Reed Live always
Larry
says.
Reed. Yeah. So it's
I
just
was
like
thinking
the
the
Wendy
same.
Williams of the Kojic Church. So he likes to talk about hot topics.
Yes, that let me know he be listening. He
Mhm.
is in the chat, the Larry Reed Live chat. Yeah, so that let me know, where he's coming from.
How you doing, Bishop Wooden?
How you doing?
Like
Okay.
if hot topics are helping the congregation, like it's clearly for vanity.
Yeah,
what is-
yeah, it is for vanity. The Movado, everything that I, saw is for vanity. It's all for vanity, and I feel like that's what kind of like turns me off to like commodified religion. Like it's a lot of it as far as the pastors is for vanity. Especially you saw Bishop Whitehead, when he was giving the house tour, the tour of his closet, all the Fendi, all the Louis, all the Gucci. You know what I mean? For them, it is for vanity. Right. But meanwhile, people are struggling. Like people are really trying to pay their bills. And that's what bothers me. And I don't like that people present God as if you can exchange money for blessings. Like there are the late night evangelists, like they used to come on BET that do that, and it's kind of obvious what they're doing. But there are also Sunday morning preachers that are doing the same thing. It might be a little bit more low key, and people might not notice it, but it's the same thing. It's the same type of exchange. Like it's almost like they're saying, put your money where your mouth is. If you really believe in God, give your money, and in return, you're going to be blessed. And I just don't think
your relationship
that,
with God is transactional.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's financial. I don't think it's a financial transaction. I just
It
don't.
shouldn't be. I don't think it should be.
Yeah, I think a lot of like these current pastors could learn a lot from like the pastors of the civil rights movement, who all of them were very much like in the streets, preaching on Sunday, getting arrested on Monday, like actually feeding the congregation, feeding the neighbor, helping people, and like actually doing the work instead of being like, oh, I want to talk about Beyonce. Like, what is that doing for anyone?
Right. But I get my life. I love
with them too.
Yeah. Yeah, but
watch Ty's channel, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
they were perfect. They were. I'm not gonna say they were perfect.
They were in the streets.
They were in the streets, in the sheets, doing nonsense.
All right, ladies. On that note, I want to thank you all for joining me. Stephanie, Ty, Sheridan, I want to thank you for joining me on my channel. I don't go live often. I am going to start going live again. Our RHOP channel panel is about to start again with Kim Pyre and Grace Report. I believe that starts in October. RHOP is returning in October, so we are returning. And I do want to start going live more often. And I want to thank you, ladies, for joining me. I haven't been live in months, and I want to thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
And we'll go around. Where can the people find you and subscribe to your channel? Let me see. I have links in the very beginning of the chat. I have the links, but if there's anything you want to let the people know, like what you're doing or how to find you, you can let the people know. And we'll start with you, Stephanie.
Yeah, so my channel is Wine and Chill. So very much like conversational. I would say a lot of talk, since I'm a recovering lawyer, about different legal issues mixed with pop culture with some wine. So that's what you're going to get. So it might not be fully sanctified, just to let y'all know. So don't watch out. Come over there, be confused as to what's happening. But it's very much, I would say, talking about systemic issues, which is what matters to me, to be honest. I don't care what the background is, as long as you're fighting for Black people. That's what matters to me. So
thank you. What about you, Ty?
My channel is Hot Mess History with Ty Said. I'll probably go in and change the name tonight or tomorrow morning to Ty's Hot Mess History. Right now, I am working on the next thing that I'm going to have out, which I guess will be sometime this week. Since Layla, you don't realize you actually pulled me out of like a bubble. I've been like in serious grief mode since August 6th, and I haven't posted anything on my channel. But I did start writing finally my next story. It's going to be about the first modern day celebrity in history, a lady who lived in the 1700s who made her fortune spreading her legs and getting her stories out in the newspapers in London, the Fleet Street newspapers. So she was kind of like, before there was a Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, Lori Harvey type girl, this is who she was. Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well. So that's the next story.
Okay. All right. I'll definitely be looking out for that. And what about you, Sheridan?
Hey, you guys. Thank y'all so much for the people who have already started subscribing. My name is Sheridan S. Davis, and you can find me on YouTube. I will be talking about current events with a little Jesus juice on there. And yes, I'm here for the wine. That's Jesus-esque. Okay. And so you can follow me on Instagram and all the other things, and I'll be sharing more about my books. My book, Homecoming, which is the sequel to Late Registration, will be out in just a couple weeks. So thank you guys so much for your support.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Those who commented, those who lurked. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I will see you guys next time.